Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about family members with addiction problems. In specific, I want to focus on alcohol abuse because I feel like that one, I know a lot personally about that because I have a family member who has a problem with alcohol. I believe even in all the addictions, I think the one thing in common for sure is that it definitely takes a toll on the family and the way everything's going on with the family. I like to say, and I've said it before actually, even when we're talking in my family about this, it's kind of like when there's one rotten tomato, it's gonna rot the rest. And I don't mean like, oh, like I'm not trying to say, oh, this person's a horrible person or any of that. Like, I just mean it in the way that, how they feel spreads throughout everybody else, you know. And sometimes the family knows, sometimes they don't know because it goes on for so long sometimes that you don't even realize that you're being affected by it. You know, the obvious things, like you're annoyed because this person's doing something, or you're angry, or you're worried, like those are like normal emotions. But you don't see the toll it takes on your personality, the way you're interacting with others, all those kinds of things. Like, for example, I would say with me, having to deal with that, I had a really bad temper. So that was a lot to deal with. So I had a really bad temper. I mean, every day it's a struggle still, but I work on that. I was saying earlier in that video. Also, I'm the kind of person that I take things to heart a lot. Somebody could say something and I'm, you know, and well, another thing is I overanalyze that too. I'm like an overthinker. So you could tell me one thing and I'm thinking, well, you probably meant this, you probably meant that, and then I take it to heart. Like let's say somebody, if I ask somebody, oh, you want to hang out with me? And they're like, no. And I'm already thinking, well, they probably just don't, want to hang out with me. They don't care. Like all these things, I'm bothering them. I'm a bother. Like those are the kinds of things that go through my mind. And they are not okay. And a lot of times I have to kind of rationalize with myself and tell myself, listen, it's not, it's fine. You're overthinking again, and you need to just take a moment and relax. Really just let it sink in. So, I think that's the way it's affected me, where my emotions are all over the place sometimes, and my personality, I hold back a lot of things, dreams, aspirations. And I don't think that I realized that it took that toll on me until that person was removed from my life for a little bit. And then we all started noticing as a family how certain things we didn't need to do. Like my father, he's the person who yells a lot. He gets very angry, so he yells a lot. He does a lot of yelling. He gets angry very fast. And we noticed when he wasn't in the house, it was quiet, really quiet. And so we started to notice, why is it so quiet? Like like my mom or me and my brother, when we started getting angry, we were like, well, why are we yelling? No one else is yelling. Why are we yelling? You know what I mean? So like little things like that, we started noticing, we don't need to do that. Like, why are we yelling? Like, there was no hostility. It was like, for so many years, we were always on the defensive. We were always fighting, because that's how I grew up. It's like, you're always trying to be, defending yourself. You're always fighting. You're always on the defense. You're ready to go. Like, when something's going on, you're ready. You know what I mean? And I started realizing that I didn't have a use for that anymore. Like, I didn't need to be on the defensive. I didn't need to be fighting so much. Like, for what? Nobody else is fighting. Why am I so ready to go? And, not only that, but I started realizing that I was more, I started being more sensitive. I was more like a lot of things, I started suppressing a lot of emotions, and, in one way or another it was showing up. And that's how, I was getting more anxious lately. I had a lot of thoughts in my head, and I think that, I don't know if this applies to everybody, but with me not having my father in the house for a little, he was living with a friend, it made me have like conflicting emotions. I didn't know if I was happy or angry, and sometimes it was all at once kind of a thing. You know, like I was happy he wasn't here because it wasn't annoying. I wasn't angry, and I didn't know what to do with that because I was always ready to be angry, and I hold this resentment towards him, and I didn't know what to do with that. It was just, all these things that I'm used to, it was changing, the dynamic was shifting, and I didn't know what to do with it. So when he wasn't in the house, that started happening. I was also sad because even though, which I will say, I do hold a lot of resentment towards my father still. And, a lot of the time I don't like to interact with him, but it's always very conflicting. So I will say that, I don't know if everybody goes through this, where they battle their emotions. Like, I'm always like, when he's around me, I'm like, I want to interact. But then I don't want to interact. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want you to talk to me. You're annoying. Just get away. Like, I have all these emotions that I'm fighting with constantly when he's around. It's like, I care for him because he's my father, and I resent him because of everything he did. But at the same time, I don't want anything bad to happen to him. But at the same time, I don't want him near me. So it's like, I'm constantly battling those kinds of emotions when I'm around him. So that's still an everyday struggle, but I'm more knowledgeable now in it, and I try to control it a little bit more. Yes, my moments are still there where I have an outburst and I'm like, I say something, but then I feel bad, and I think I haven't reached my point yet where I can say, I forgive you. And it's funny because I watched this in this other video. It was kind of like a similar scenario, the mom was upset, she was very resentful towards her father because of a lot of things that happened. And with her, someone made a comment like, oh, you don't have to let him know that you forgive him. You just do it for you. And I think that is so important. That's so true. When you forgive someone, you don't do it for them, you do it for yourself. You don't want to carry on that kind of weight, it holds you back, it takes away your peace. It does all those things. And I say that as I'm still basically trying to figure that out. But I I acknowledge it, as someone who knows these things and is knowledgeable in these things. I know the logic behind it. But in the human side of me, I'm a human being, and I feel. And I'm mad, and I'm happy, and I'm sad, and all these things. So that I can't take away, because I am a human being. No matter how knowledgeable a person is, you're always going to be a human being underneath it all. So, like I said, I'm not ready to take that step yet, for me at least. But for anyone else who, maybe feel like they're getting there and all that, I think that it's true. You don't want to carry all that with you. It's just not healthy for you, and the forgiveness isn't for them, it's for yourself. You forgive them for your peace of mind,